welcome you, sister. I appreciate and acknowledge the guidance given by our principal, ma'am, Dr. Mrs. Joseph Catherine. Welcome you, ma'am. An event of this dimension cannot happen overnight. It requires meticulous planning and execution and an eye for every detail. I welcome the organizing secretaries, Dr. Mrs. Alma Juliet Pamela, IQAC and Research Coordinator SMC, and Dr. Mrs. Telma Rani, CEO, Shalom Academy, Coimbatore. Welcome, Alma ma'am, and welcome, Telma ma'am.
Thank you, Rubina.
Prayers are like songs composed by our hearts.
Thank you.
Desires, thoughts, emotions, and aspirations. And God enjoys listening to our prayers and constantly answer through simple but significantly miracles. Now, let us listen to the prayer song to invoke God's blessing.
That I am, all that I have, lay them down before you, oh Lord, and all my regrets and all my acclaim, the joy and the pain, I'm making them yours.
Things in the past, things yet unseen, wish and dreams that are yet to come true. All of my hopes, all of my plans, my heart and my hands are lifted to you. My life to you, everything I've been through. Use it for your glory, and Lord, I offer my days to you, lifting my praise to you. As a pleasing sacrifice. Lord, I offer you my love. That I am, that I have.
Welcome, challengers. Look for the opportunities in every situation to learn and grow in wisdom. Welcome to those who believe in the power of dreams. Now I call Dr. Mrs. Telma Rani, CEO, Shalom Academy, guest faculty, retired professor, St. Christopher's College of Education, to formally welcome the gathering. Ma'am, please.
Yes, thank you. Reverend dear sister, respected principal, teachers, and my dear friends, a warm welcome and good evening to you all. Stella Martichona, the College of Education, has a beautiful vision, evolving the future in teacher preparation by celebrating tradition and heritage. The value of the institution goes with this. spiritual vigor, value orientation, sensitization to social and environmental needs, holistic outlook to life, and commitment to the goals of national and educational policy are the hallmarks of the institution's educational values imparted to the student training. Very often, seminars and symposiums and conferences are carried on within a roof full of participants. But this COVID 19 pandemic has made it all roofless, thereby making the noble vision and values of the institution to be aired to numerous people for countless number of times. What shall we say then? Shall we say it as we gain academic expertise? I'm sorry for this gain, gain note too, and leave it to your thoughts. Friends, the Secretary of the prestigious institution, Stella Matituna, Reverend Sister Pauline Mary, MSc, MPhil, B.Ed, and PGDCA, has made a powerful contribution to the field of education, and in particular, leading, providing, and protecting the environment, the educational institution Stella Matituna to a greater height, and she is working for the uplift of educational community besides her service to the Lord. In this way, I feel proud to introduce you and welcome you, Reverend Sister, for this incredible webinar session on cognitive skills, problem solving. To every fresher who have joined this webinar this day, I need to disclose to you that consistently, this college arranges the national and international level seminars and conferences during this COVID-19 pandemic. Obviously, it goes without saying that great efforts and encouragement only could take the programs without any flaw, which is possible only by the close monitoring of the principal. Yes, I appreciate and welcome you, Dr. Mrs. Josephine Catherine, for this session on cognitive skills problem solving. And I welcome every one of the participants. And coming to the resource person of the college, the, both the resource person belong to the same institution, Stella Matituna. To start with, let me welcome and introduce Dr. Alma Juliet Pamela. What shall I say? Such a great expertise she is having. And it is running for a number of pages, which I have cut short. And excuse me, Dr. Alma, for this. Having started her career as lecturer in mathematics in Arts and Science College, she has 30 years of collegiate services to her credit, of which 27 years, that is more than a quarter century, in this prestigious institution, Stella Matituna College of Education. And for this credible services, she was awarded with Distinguished Alumni Award by Providence College for Women on 26 January 2019. To her credit, we can say a number of things, but I just quoted only a few. She has guided about 3 completed doctoral degrees and 6 more pursuing doctoral degree under her able guidance. 22 MPhil candidates and 30 MEd candidates are also benefited. She is an adjudicator of PhD theses and doctoral committee member to a number of PhD candidates. She has written 2 books on, one on strategies and techniques of research in education, and other on philosophies and approaches in the UGC HRDC refresher course batch 2 in the University of Madras. She was a chairperson for International Conference on Emerging Trends in Educating Persons with Disability on 23rd January 2019 in Dr. MGR Institute of Special Education and Research, MGR Garden, Chennai. As a resource person to philosophical perspectives of research and education on H2 2018, she had been a resource person for refresher course participating in education and education technology batch 19 in the UGC HRDC refresher course batch 2 in the University of Madras. As a resource person to the philosophical perspectives of research and education on 2018 on the same topic to a different batch, UGC Human Resource Development Center, UOM. As an expert committee member for textbook writing of 9th standard textbook by SCRT workshop on textbook writing. Apart from these, she has served as a resource person in various institutions in Tamil Nadu, covering school education, colleges of arts and science, and colleges of education on the themes emerging trends in education, pedagogical approaches, imparting values in education, mass education, etc. She also served as resource person for professor courses in Madras University for a couple of batches. And in this COVID-19, she has been arranging so many programs as webinar on various topics, including this cognitive skills. So, on behalf of Shalom Academy and on behalf of Stella Martina College, I welcome Dr. Alma Pamela to serve as resource person for this particular session of cognitive skills, problem solving skills. Let me move on to introduce Mrs. P. Carolyn Jebaswarna, who is fondly called as Jeba Ma'am by students and in teacher education sectors for her simplicity and student-centered approach in teaching. She has gained double post-graduation in mathematics and psychology to her credit. Her academic qualifications add on with double post-graduation gain as MPhil in mathematics and MPhil in education and a postgraduate diploma in human rights. Now you understand how pleasant her teaching arena would be. Her rich qualification and knowledge has also been exhibited when she co-authored 2 books on education. She has the art of learning and sharing that is revealed. She has such her sharing of knowledge by session papers for TRB and TNPSC. She has contributed in the content preparation and translation workshop mathematics education for Tamil Nadu Open University. She has published articles in Indian journals and papers in various seminars and conferences. She has also served as a resource person for various in-service programs conducted for teachers. I welcome you, ma'am, for this international webinar on cognitive skills and help us with the techniques of solving our problems, not only our academic problems, but the innate qualities of problem-solving ability in so many areas in our life. Finally, I welcome all the participants for this wonderful session, which is going to be very useful for us in dealing our day-to-day problem solving. So, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your warm welcome. Now it's time to invite an outstanding speaker to deliver a talk on the topic problem solving skills. I invite Dr. Mrs. Alma Juliet Pamela, Associate Professor, followed by Mrs. Caroline Jabaswarna, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, Stella Matituna College of Education, to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
Yes, Robina, thank you. And Dr. Thelma also, thank you, ma'am. So now we'll go into the session. I just want all of you to just watch this. I hope I'll be able to share for you.
Clearly, this isn't one of mine. But we all have skills that employers want. In particular, they want employees who have the right mix of soft skills and hard skills. Hard skills are technical knowledge or training gained through any life experience in your career or education. For example, if you've worked in food service or retail, you might know how to use a point of sale system.
O si estudiaste algún otro idioma, podrías hablarlo perfectamente.
Soft skills, on the other hand, are abilities that can be applied in any job. Think people skills or social skills. These are skills like leadership, lunchtime, problem solving, and organization.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all the participants. Today we are going to talk about the problem-solving skills. I think it won't be a hardcore theory from my side. I have decided that since we know what is what, problem solving, all these 5 days we have been talking about problem and all the skills. I thought I would also give you some practical examples of going about how to solve problems here. So it is going to be a practical session. Of course, a little bit of theory will be given to you. I hope the participants will join with me, and we'll have all of us will have an interactive session so that it is useful for all of us. Okay. I hope I am audible.
Ma'am, we cannot see your screen. I think Dr. Thelma Rani's screen is on. She has pinned up.
Oh,
so
I have shared from here. I am able to.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I see that.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
You are able to see my screen
No,
now?
still Dr. Thelma's screen is on. She has pinned up. So only when she removes, you can come in.
Is it okay now?
I'm checking here. Yes, I am able to see the screen also. I am coming in two platforms. I am able to see the screen. Whether the participants are able to see the screen?
We
No,
can
ma'am,
see the
we
screen,
can
sister.
see.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. We can see the screen.
Yes. I could see the screen.
They are able to see.
Yes.
We can able to
Thank
see.
you. Thank you. So problem solving skills, if we have to talk about. Albert Einstein quotes that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. So I would just quote, I'd like to quote to Albert Einstein, and I would like to talk about what are problem solving skills. See, in every day we have problems. Everywhere problems. Now also in the pandemic period we have problems. I think in every home and in every place, whatever we are doing, day-to-day life, every minute, every second, every week, we are getting news from the TV channels, and everywhere we are getting problems. So how are we going to solve this? That is our criteria today. I'm going to talk about the problems from the philosophical perspective, and I'm going to talk about problems from the mathematical perspective. Since I belong to the Department of Mathematics and I also belong to the philosophy, I would like to start with quoting to the philosopher J. Krishnamurti, who says that few can really understand the problem. The answer will come out of it because the answer is not separate from the problem. It's a beautiful quotation by J. Krishnamurti. He says, few can really understand the problem. The answer will come out of it because the answer is not separate from the problem. So, problem solving is the mental process involving the ability to analyze and to find the solution, the best solution from the problem. So, how are we going to solve the problem? So, when we have to talk about the pedagogy and methodology, because we are all in the colleges of education. I think some of them are in the from the arts college also. I just want to talk about my experience of talking about how we are solving the problems. So from the pedagogical approach or pedagogical strategies when we are talking about, and the methodology if we are going to talk about, I think the philosophers have been talking about the various methodologies. The BA trainees would talk about, in the foundation courses itself, they will do philosophy of education. Philosophy of education is the foundation of education, I could say. And they will talk about all the philosophers, almost all the philosophers. I used to wonder why we are talking about these philosophers all the time. So slowly getting into the field, from the mathematics field to the philosophy, I could understand, I could solve my own problem. I want to talk about my own experience of how I was solving the problem, that it is useful for the students to understand. And students also like to get the sharings from the staff, so that it is easy for them to carry out their life with solving their own problems. So mostly philosophers have been coming up with so many problems, and they have been solving it out from the ancient, medieval, and if we could see the modern and the postmodern period. We have so many philosophers have been facing so many problems, and they have been solving in their own way by thinking. Philosophy is nothing but thinking. So think in the way proper. That is why we talked about thinking skills in the first day. So thinking skills, you'll be able to solve the problems. With the reasoning skills, you'll be able to solve the problem. With your decision making, with your all the skills which you defined by WHO, you can solve your own problems. So philosophers started with thinking, and they asked questions why. So it is very important that when we talk about philosophy, and the definition of philosophy itself says philosophy is nothing but wisdom, learning for wisdom, earning for wisdom, passion for knowledge, and philosophy is nothing but thinking. So by thinking why, what, when, where, etc., you can solve your own problems. This was the recommendation given by almost all philosophers. So the educational implications of philosophy only we are dealing with when we are talking about the curriculum. Curriculum is based on the philosophy. Curriculum is based on the philosophy. So the educational implications like aim, methods. When we talk about the methods, it is teaching, learning methods. And you talk about the role of the teachers. It is very, very important. All this are given by mostly by the philosophers. So the problem has been solved. Actually, the skills of the problems are imbibed with the philosophy, and the philosophers have carried out their life with their philosophy, talking about their own life history, their own methodology, their own aims of education, etc. So if we could deeply talk about, or if you can deeply meditate about philosophy, you will understand there lies the skills of solving your own problems. Coming to education, we have the methodology. That is how we are talking about the pedagogical strategies and methodological strategies like algorithms and heuristic methods. Say pedagogy consists of teaching and learning, and the philosophers have given a number of methods. Say, for example, we talk about Maria Montessori's sensory method. You talk about John Dewey's project method. You talk about Froebel's kindergarten method. It was like that. So we try to get into education with the pedagogical strategies. And pedagogical strategies are many. I have given only open discussion here. These open discussion has evolved by Socrates, who has been talking about the dialogue method. With the dialogue method itself, you will be able to solve the problem. So in the ancient history itself, we could note that there are people who have been solving problems with the discussion method itself. Like that, they have been, each of the philosophers from ancient period to the modern period, they were talking about the algorithms, the methodology, and the strategies, the heuristic methods. We have lots of other methods also they have been talking about. And what is an algorithm? Algorithm is nothing but a step-by-step process. It is also related with problem solving. Problem solving involves a step-by-step process. Will Folk talks about algorithm as step-by-step prescription for indigo. Algorithmic methods are limited to low-level tasks and tend to domain specific. And you also talk about the heuristic methods where you make use of the practical, you derive solutions to problems very practically. So, what I would like to say is all these problem solving skills are imbibed with the philosophers, and they have been talking about philosophy and they have been giving various steps. For example, only one I would like to quote. I think we need to talk about the most, we need to read most of the philosophies and the philosophers talking about problem solving skills, right? Only one I have quoted to you. It is common. What is scientific method? I just want to talk about the scientific method before getting into identifying the problem. Science is nothing but the systematic study. So with the systematic study, you are able to get into, you divide science into pure science, then you talk about natural science and applied science. In all these sciences, you talk about problems. How? You talk about problem in the sense, pure science talks about like mathematics and logic. We are talking about the problems, how to solve problems, and pure science talks about the abstract concepts. There you try to take, for example, mathematics. You have a number of theories, or you have number of problems. For all those problems, you may have to find the solutions. Even for logic, you may have to you have to reason, and then you have to find the solution. So Branford and Stein, he talks about IDEAL, to represent the steps usually contained in many solution strategies. This is common for scientific method also. That is why I quoted to you. A scientific method is nothing but you will identify the problem, you will define the problem and represent the problem, you will explore possible solutions, and you will have solutions, and you will find also strategies, and you will also act on these strategies and look back to evaluate. When you try to find out the strategies, you will like to find out what you can do. Right. So when you talk about, I told you in the beginning, philosophers have been talking about the role of the teachers. They have been talking about the role of the teachers in the problem solving skills. And I have given a lot of ideas here, a lot of points which you can really read and find out. That is one or the other I will read out, because I'll be doing some practical sessions on all these things. At least a few, like brainstorm, etc., like giving some problems, all those things. So I just want to run the slide and get into the other thing. You have at least one or two we can really talk about. Role of the teacher, you have to have a creative thinking, and you have to be an independent problem solver. You have to focus on the process of the children who are engaged in solving the problems, etc. And you have to provide a variety of problem solving experiences, and it goes on and on. When you talk about providing variety of problem solving experiences, you can offer games. All these days people were coming, our resource persons have been giving us games, offering us games. They have been giving puzzles, and they have been giving discussions. Like that, the sessions were very practical, and they made you to understand what cognitive skills are. That is what the recommendation by the philosophers too. They have been talking about games, how we may have to practically, they have been doing in their life to understand, to be creative and to be critical, and they were encouraging their own students in order to solve their own problems. Problems are in the school, problem anywhere in the administration. So life was so easy because they have been thinking and they have been solving their own problems. See, in the school, the teaching methodology, now it is the present scenario has changed. You could see that it is student centered and it is project and problem based teaching strategy. I told you in the beginning, we are talking about the pedagogical strategy and methodological strategy. It is all involved with student centered. The whole scenario has changed. It is teacher is not on stage. She is sitting by the side of the students, and she is also learning. And we have a collaborative learning here. So at the core itself, you have student centered. It is project based and it is problem based teaching strategy that is tied to both content, standards, school, and you have the learning experiences. So just I would like to pose a question where the problem lies. We'll just think about it. Where is the problem? Problem today, we have problem with the child, problem with the learner. There is problem with the teacher, administrator. It is problem in the classroom, everywhere. You can see in home, and especially in the COVID period, we have everything is a problem. How we are solving, we do not know. We are all sitting inside the house. Of course, we are trying to occupy ourselves by engaging us with all these seminars, workshops like that. So this itself is a skill of managing the problem, and we are also trying to get into the solution of the problem, and we are all sharing our knowledge and expertise. Okay, so you could see the state when I have just given it a state because you have to talk about each state in India and things like that. The environment is a problem now. Everything is a problem. Administrators with the teachers, with the country, etc., etc. So there is an exercise for you right now. In between, I'll go with an exercise. I just want to see this problem. I think at least 5 of you can mute yourself and you can solve this problem. I will read the problem to you. You can just give me the solution of this problem. Use the numbers 1 through 9. I want 5 volunteers. It is going to be a practical session. It is a workshop. So I don't want to get into too much of theory. I am giving some practical experiences to you, how we can solve the problem. It is going to be very interesting. I think some of you, at least, you can mute yourself and just try this problem. Use the numbers 1 through 9 to label the points on the triangle. I have given a triangle there, and you could see some circles there. And if you can use 1 to 9, okay? You can use 1 to 9, and each side you have to fill the numbers in such a way that the additions of the numbers you should get it to be 20. Yes? You got my problem? Each circle you have to fill with one number. Each circle you have to fill with one number. The numbers should be between 1 and 9. And if you add on these sides, one side, if you add, you have to get it to be 20. The next side, if you add, you have to get it to be 20. I think you have to have a paper and pencil with you so that you can try out this. Okay. So let me see. Shall I give 1 minute? I think some of them are really doing it. Those who have found out can tell me. Is it too difficult?
Ma'am, is it 555? Excuse me, ma'am.
You have to make use of 1 to 9. Okay. And one side, if you add, you have to get it as 20. Like that, the other side. 3 sides are there, no? So one side if you add, you have to get 20. The other side if you add, you have to get 20. Let me
Is it
see
5,
the...
ma'am? Is it 5?
Ma'am,
No.
Ma'am,
No,
Is it
no,
5? No.
not
Thank
5. If you add the 4 numbers, you have to, I have put the circle, no? There you have to...
ma'am, shall I tell?
Yes, sure.
Ma'am, Anita, ma'am.
Yes, Anita, say. Yes, that's nice. You have got it?
Yeah, I just tried it, ma'am.
Yes.
One side 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5.
Okay.
Another side 5 plus 4.
See, 5 plus 5 you cannot use. Only once you can use. You can use the number only once. Okay.
Ma'am, I finished.
Yes, you can say to others. Please introduce yourself.
Another one is 5 plus. Hello.
Yes, introduce yourself.
Another one is 5.
Ma'am.
Yes.
First
Come
side
on.
2, 4, 5, 9.
Okay.
And other 6, 9, 3.
Just tell me.
One side 2, 4, 5, 9.
Okay.
Second side 2, 6, 9, 3. And third bottom 3, 7, 1, 9.
3, 7, 1, 9. 3, 7?
1, 9.
Yeah. That's good.
And this is Aparna.
That's good.
Hello.
May I know your name, please? You just introduce yourself.
Aparna, ma'am.
I'm Rekha.
Aparna, ma'am.
Aparna. Good.
Yeah.
Good, Aparna.
Right hand
That's good.
the number should be 529.
Yeah.
And at the bottom,
The only
9, 7, 8.
our only aim is you don't repeat the numbers. You try to solve. That's it. You got it? Aparna got it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, ma'am.
that's
2
good.
sides are got.
2 sides. That's what happened to the third side. I
Third
think still
side
others
number
are
is
trying.
repeating, ma'am.
You are not supposed to repeat the number. You can do it.
Yeah, ma'am. Right hand side 5249. And at the bottom
5249.
182.
2.
At the bottom,
You are repeating. 2 again is coming.
918, ma'am.
Okay. You add one side and see whether you are getting 20. The other side you have to get 20. When you add the numbers, you have to get 20. The third side also, when you add, you have to get 20. You can try. You can try. No repeating. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, participants. Very active participants. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Ma'am, Rajashree.
Yeah.
On the top it is 5.
Okay.
Then it is 4.
4 where?
9. One side. 5, 4, 9, 2.
Okay.
The
Good.
next side. Below 5, 6, 1, 8.
5, 6.
1, 8.
1. You are going to the other side. In the square, you must have, in the sides, you must have only 4 numbers. Okay. You try. And you cannot repeat also. Okay.
Okay. In the triangle is triangle. Okay, ma'am. Triangle.
Yeah, it is a triangle.
Okay, it is 3 sides.
3 sides.
Okay. Left first. I will tell left side. Okay, first.
Yes, left side you say.
Okay. 5, 6, 1, 8.
Okay. See, that 5 and 8 will be in the corner.
Yes. 5 in the top corner and 8 in this corner. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Then in the bottom,
Yeah.
8 is already there.
8 is already there.
Then 7, 3, 2.
3, 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is 20.
Then 2 is already there. But then 9, 4.
Yeah, 9, 4.
5
That's
is already
good.
there.
Yeah, 5 is already there. It is 20. Very nice, very nice. You have like that. The I think the previous participant also gave a different answer, and with the numbers 1 to 9, what we are trying to find out here is with the use of 1 to 9 without repeating. You have to add the sides to be 20. You get multiple answers. Okay, so. I am directly relating with the problem. For any problem with the different perspectives, every day we are coming into problems, right? We have a different perspectives, and with the different perspectives, we try to solve the problem. Okay, and now itself I got 3 answers from the same problem. I had 3 set of answers. Like this, the participants can try, and you can also find out. Okay, here we are trying to find out how the problem can be solved. So we are trying to think, and we are trying to act, and we are trying to apply our knowledge and trying to find the solution. That is problem solving skills. I think you have one more problem. Shall we do? Shall we try? Use the digit. I think, yeah. Use the digits 1 through 9, once each. Okay. Fill in the circle, make a sum of 9, 9, 9. Hope you got mine.
Ma'am, I finished. I'm
finished.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good, very good.
3 to 4.
See, you have multiple answers. I want all the participants to try in your paper itself. Okay. And you can have it, you can check for yourself. At least 1 or 2 you can tell me. No issues. You can tell me. Okay. So it's a very interesting problem. You have 1 to 9. You cannot read it. But when you add, you have to get 9, 9, 9. Column wise, you have to get 9, 9, 9. Okay. So you can do this. I have still some more problems. Shall we go for that? Yes, participants? I think some of the participants are still trying. Oh, that's good. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So, problem solving is a key skill, right? In life, we have problems, and it is the key skill we are talking about. And it is the one that can make a huge difference in the life of the students. So like this, we can give to students, ask them to solve problems, and tell them how the problems can be solved. While we are doing the problem itself, we are trying to think. So we are asked to think, and we are trying to find out where the problem lies, how we have to go about with the problem, and then only we are trying to replace the numbers. If I put 1, 2, 3, 4, will I get it? Like that, then we are trying to find the solution. Okay. So fundamental part of every individual role is finding the ways to solve the problem. Being confident problem solver is really essential for success. That is what we understood when we were doing the exercise. Okay. Once you get the solution, we are so happy. We are so confident. We can get into the other problem. It is like that. So it is a skill. See, with the problem, the word problem itself, you see, you have to have patience when you are doing the problem. You have to read the situation carefully, and you may have to orient your thoughts. All this you did when you are doing your problem, right? And you have to be very cool in life also. Be cool and calm, which never happens, especially in the pandemic. It never happens for us. And you look for alternatives. You are solving the problem, and you are trying to find out, when I add up on one side, whether it is 9. It is not so. Then you went for some other, whether it is 20. Then you went for some other numbers. You were trying to add and find out whether it is 20, like that. So you have to look for alternatives in life, and accordingly you may have to solve the problem. And always you have to control the ego. That is very, very important. When you talk about problem solving, we have to control, or we have to take care of our psychological and our emotional behaviors when we have problems, right? And make it an adventure. Always take problem as take it to the positive side, so that you'll be able to do adventures. See, in mathematics also, when we do problems, we make use of trial and error method. Okay, we do even in the classroom, when I was doing mathematics for the students, I used to give them some problems. I used to give them some problems which will not give answers. Then they will think and come out with the solution. They won't come out with the solution. They will come with lots of doubts. Then I will try to explain to them. By then, your cognitive skill, the level of thinking increases. So the power of thinking increases, and your brain tries to acquire more of the knowledge. That is what we understand when we talk about problems. So no one is up all the time and not they down all the time. We go through problems, right? And problems do end. They do go away. We have to have that faith within us. Okay, even this pandemic will pass away. We are going to do well in our life, and we are going to have everything is going to be smooth. That should be our thinking. They will all go in time. I think in the chat box, people are giving answers. That's good, participants. I am so happy about you. You are participating. How do we solve our problems? I'll skip all this because I have some more activities. You try to identify, you try to accept, you try to analyze, you make alterations, and you, yesterday they were talking about decision making. Decision making is very, very important, and action, and you have to get into action and implement, and you try to evaluate. Okay, and I would like to quote to Socrates. I cannot teach anybody anything, I can only make them think. Saint Socrates, when the Socratic dialogue method, he is famous for only that methodology we are following, all of us are following. And suddenly I would have talked about constructivism here. The basic of constructivism is with Socrates. He was the first person, he was talking with his students, Aristotle and Plato. They had a dialogue. From that, knowledge generated. And the generation of knowledge only we are talking about right now. They were able to solve so many problems, okay, in the ancient period itself. Most of the problems in life are because of two things. I told you already when I was talking about philosophy, we act without thinking. Problem, how it happens. We need to think. When you think, you'll be able to solve the problems. We act without thinking, we keep thinking without acting. It is a nice saying, you see. We act without thinking, or we keep thinking without acting. That is why problem comes. Okay, what are the ways to solve the problems? I have a number of slides here. Just go about it. All these are very easy for you. You will understand. We have to face the problem. Now, I think everybody is facing the problem now. We are all within the pandemic period. We are doing online teaching and things like that. So we are facing, okay? And this problem is an opportunity for growth. Sure, we are meeting lots of participants here from north to south. We have participants here. We are so happy. We are trying to meet experts from everywhere. We are trying to call. We are having collaborative knowledge. We are trying to collaborate the other ideas, just like that. So this itself is an example. You see, problem as an opportunity for growth. And no problem is going to be permanent. It passes away. It passes away. So we have to have a positive thinking to approach the problem, and we have to go about. I just want to go through them for the want of time. What are the strategies? I have just given 2 strategies. We have so many other strategies. I just would like to talk about the strategy of root cause analysis, where the problem lies. See here, if you can see the picture, you will understand. I think you have to pin my screen, you will be able to see the picture correctly. So symptom of the problem is you have on the top part the weed above the surface, and down you have the root, right, below the surface, and it is not obvious. So whichever is not obvious, we are trying to find out. You have to find out, and you have to change from within. Always we say, no, we need to get into the problem, deep into the problem. The word root itself talks about the root cause analysis of the problem we are supposed to do. Okay, so every problem you have to go deep into it to solve the problem. That is what is root cause analysis. And again, I would like to quote to Plato. He would like to say, good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. He says, determine what happened, why all this I have expressed. Determine what happened, why it happened, and what to do, and try to find the solution. That is what the philosophers talk about. And cause-effect analysis is nothing but you identify the problem, you work out the major factors for it, you identify possible causes. In the beginning of my lecture itself, I was talking about the scientific method, right? The same scientific method, scientific steps always follows. Some people will say always follows 5 steps. Some people will write it as 7 steps. Some people will write it as 8 steps. It is all that we identify the problem. We try to work out what are the major factors of the problem. We try to identify the possible causes, and we would like to analyze the causes, and then we would like to find out what is the solution. You have next set of activities you can just go through and tell me how many squares are there in this figure. Okay, you can just count. It is a brain teaser. You can just tell me. You can just write it in your chat box also, it's okay, because we are running out of time. I have too many activities. I will stop once my time is over. You just write it there, okay? I want you people to write it there. How many squares? I think you can find out also. You can find out how many squares are there. People are writing 31, 40, 38. People were able to get 38. Some of them are saying 32. Okay. So the answer is, shall I give the answer, or you'll try? You'll try at home, and you can tell us. Okay. Yes. Shall we go for the? Some people are saying, yeah. Okay. We'll go for the next one. Which way is the bus going? Or somebody can mute and you can tell me. Okay, which way is the bus going?
Right side, madam. Towards the right.
I can.
Towards right.
I can give you a clue. Some of them are writing left. Some of them are writing right. One clue I can give you. This is a bus in the United Kingdom, UK. Right? So just to see, you will just make a try.
This is a front portion.
So the bus.
That is a front portion, that is.
Pardon, sir, I am not able to get you.
That answer is front portion, the bus answer is.
Oh, the bus is moving left. I wanted to know whether the bus is moving right or the bus is moving to the left. Okay. So the bus is in UK and the bus is moving towards the left. Okay. We cannot see the door, right? The reason is, yes. Are you able to see the door there? You're not able to see the door, right? So the bus is moving towards your left. Shall we go for the next activity? Again, how many squares are available in this? Just it is a problem solving question. You have to tell me, just count, and you can tell me. You can post it in your chat box, no problem. Okay, we'll go about with the next one. Right?
11.
There are 12, 10, 12, 10. I get some
It's the answer.
12, 10 like that. It is going on.
11.
I don't want to give the answer because you are thinking about it, right? And people are thinking about it. There is 13 in the chat box. There is 13, 14, 16. It goes on and on like that, right? Yes, 10, 16.
11 or 12, madam. 12 is the answer, right? Final answer.
12. Just count, sir. You count. Just count.
4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 2, 10 plus 2. Short circle 4, short circle 4, square 4.
Oh, no.
Length is square 4 is 4.
Okay.
Short, 2 small squares square is 10. And overall that is 2 square is 12.
Okay. Everybody is writing 13, 11, 13, 11 like that. I'll tell you the answer this time. Other, yeah. 6 small squares. You have 6 small squares. That is 1 into 1 unit square. You have 6. You just count and see. Then you have 6 medium-sized squares. You have 2 units. Just like that, you see 2 units. You have 6 again. Again, you have 3 large squares. Just count and see. You have 3 large squares. You just count and see. You will get it. And 2 very large squares you have. Okay. So altogether, you have 17 squares. I think who said the correct answer? Let me check in the chat box. You got it? Yeah. Congratulations, Hemavati Shanmugam, Jiva Shanmugam. There are people who have given right answers. Yes, that's nice. That's nice. Let us go for the next problem. Before that, I have talked about how the philosophers have been talking about the construction of ideas when they were talking about philosophy as well as the problem-solving methodology. I hope all of us would have gone through these philosophers who have been giving ideas like Thales, you have Plato, Aristotle, and people like that. And we also have the Indian philosophers. I have given even the Western and the Eastern philosophers talking about problem solving. Why should we talk about these philosophers? It is very essential to talk about philosophers because they are the foundation for our educational system, right? We are supposed to connect our knowledge from philosophy to our methodology. So the methodology comes from the philosophy and the philosophy comes from the philosophers. We are all thinking, we are all philosophers, right? We can contribute to knowledge. Now we are doing this brainstorming session and we are trying to solve our problems. Thereby we are also thinking and we are also trying to find the solutions. Like this, these philosophers have been talking about their own philosophy. They have been finding their methodologies. We have Aurobindo here, Auguste Comte talking about positivism. He was the founder of social physics, you can say. And slowly he started about sociology. And we talk about psychology and things like that. We have Maria Montessori. We are all talking about Maria Montessori sensory method where you try to solve the problems. Her methodology is she gives all the didactic approaches and she is trying, she'll give to the children. We all know it, right? So that is why the slide is put here for you to understand. We have to make connections of the knowledge to know what is problem solving. So the problem solving involves, we have been doing all this. We have been engaging ourselves, right? I was giving the questions. We have been engaging, we have been exploring, we have been explaining, we have been elaborating, and we have been evaluating, right? All this took place when you were when you were doing the problems. I gave you a few problems. You were all doing all this. Like this, you can do in other subjects also. You can, we can very well brainstorm and with the concepts, ideas, constructs, etc. And we can really take down all these the ideas of each person. We can have a brainstorming session with our students, and we can ask them to give their ideas, and we can really combine them and get the knowledge, right? We can construct knowledge, or the generation of new knowledge takes place. That is how this constructivism came into existence. That is why we should say teachers must always learn. They have to learn, unlearn, and they have to relearn. Teachers must learn, unlearn, and relearn. It is an interesting question. Let me check the time and then, yes. I just want to give you this question. Just go through the question. I hope it is seen. The screen is seen. Yeah, 5 E's, yes. Some of them are writing about constructivism. Yes, 5 E's. You have 11 letter Indian city. Yes, I am. Okay. Last letters is a fruit name. I want the participants to unmute and give the answer. You can just go through. 9, 5, 3 is a soap name. 1, 8, 3 is used by the students. 7, 8, 3 letters is a bird name. And 6, 5, 7, 5, 3. I'm just seeing the chat box whether anybody has found out. Find the Indian city. Name of the Indian city. It is our place. I think we need to find that. Right? Shall I give 1 minute for this? I don't see participants saying yes. Let me see. Wow. I've got the answer, but I don't want to. I think all of you will see the chat box, I think so, to find out the answer. Musta Sasina, then congratulations. And Narmada Devi, congratulations. Yes. Rekha Kartika, congratulations. Very good, very good. John Lewis, congratulations. So it's very interesting, right? You have found out it was easy. The clue was given to you. Shall we go for the student? So I would just like to say that when you want to solve the problem, you have to really talk about the 3 R's and the 4 C's. What is 3 R's? We know it: reading, writing, and arithmetic. With 4 C's is nothing but your critical thinking and problem solving. You have communication, collaboration, creativity, and innovation. Right? So with all this, you can really make wonders. You become, you try to solve your problems. The 4 C's and the 3 R's are very, very important for problem solving. And critical thinking is really, collaboration, everything is important, because we see we are doing the activities here. We have been finding the solution for the problems. We were able to come out with, we were communicating, right? We were writing in the chat box that 3, 4 the answers I have been getting, and you have been collaborating, and you have been trying to find out what must be the solution. So for problem solving, these 3 R's and the 4 C's are really important. I am going to skip all this for the want of time, and we all know this, how the critical thinking, creative thinking, and communication, collaboration, how flexibility. I stop with flexibility because if flexibility is there and if freedom is given to you, knowledge will be generated. That is my experience. That is why I stopped with this saying flexibility. Okay, and of course, information technology. We are all getting used to our technology, and we are talking about this 21st century skills. So the skills needed. If a child is not learning the way you are teaching, we are all teachers, we need to understand this. If a child is not learning the way we are teaching, then you must teach in the way the child learns, says Rita then. Yes, I want somebody is presenting Meena. Meena. Okay, if a child is not learning, I don't think so. You don't get my screen, right? People start. Jeba?
Yes, but small.
No, ma'am, we are not getting your screen.
Yeah, somebody is disturbing. That's the problem. I have to once again.
I am able to get your screen. I am watching you, Alma. No problem. Father
Oh,
Jairaj.
Father, that's fine. Yes,
Yeah.
Father. Welcome, Father. You're
Thank
able
you.
to see.
Yeah, I'm able to see you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
No,
on mute.
I
I'm on mute. I've got my camera off.
but I don't get my PowerPoint. You're not. Are you getting my PowerPoint?
No, no, no. Only your face.
Yes, yes.
Ma'am, no,
I will.
ma'am. Only your screen is on, not your
Yeah,
PowerPoint.
yeah. Now you
Not
will
your-
get. Got
Okay.
it?
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes.
Is it to
Thank you.
come?
Thank you.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, it has come. So now we are not talking about the classroom concept. We are talking about collaboration, engaging. I told you the 5 E's, right? The classroom concept is nothing but engaging the students and trying to collaborate with the students. And we are trying to engage them, and we are trying to derive knowledge from them. Thereby, teachers become the facilitators. That is what the idea of problem solving. Again, problem solving skills, brainstorming is very, very essential. I told you, if you give the ideas, if you ask questions, I think I have 2 questions to give to you. You can answer those questions. Brainstorming is one of the way in which you can solve your problems. Okay, so one more activity for you. Right, let's check the time also. Yes, I think I will stop with this question. This one and one more. It is very interesting. Just go through the question and try to solve this. One rabbit saw 6 elephants while going towards river. Every elephant saw 2 monkeys are going towards the river. Every monkey holds 1 tortoise in their hands. How many animals are going towards the river? I think you are able to. You pin my screen, you'll be able to get me, and you can answer me. Right?
14.
It is an interesting. It is an interesting. Who's that saying 14?
I am Rekha, ma'am.
You pin my screen, you will get my screen. My screen is visible. I could see I am in 2 laptops. So I am just finding out whether you are able to see also. Okay. Just nicely think and tell me. Everybody is giving 11, 11, 11. I want to. Yes, I'm just looking at the chat box. Yes, Shruti, you are correct. Congratulations. Shruti is correct. Shall I say the answer? You can see the box. See, 1 rabbit is going towards the river and not the 6 elephants. Just watch the question. Okay. And these 6 elephants saw 2 monkeys. Okay. And those 2 monkeys are going to the river. And each monkey is holding, that is what is given there. Each monkey is holding 1 tortoise. So you have 1 plus 2 plus 2. I have given the answer to you. 1 plus 2 plus 2. It is 5. Okay. Congratulations, John Verghese. And glad. They have given glad. So I am skipping this problem because I want to give time to. Only with this I will stop. Only one activity for you. It's very, very interesting question. Answer. Very interesting question. I enjoyed this question when I was it's the first time when I was going through this. Everybody is right. I thought it was 2. My God, I am saying. Yes. 2, 2, 2. All 2 only. I'm waiting for the correct answer. Yeah, very nice. Shruti, congratulations.
3, 3, 3.
Shruti, congratulations.
3.
No.
Giraffe, monkey, elephant, each having 2 eyes. So 3.
Giraffe has 2 eyes. Monkey has 2 eyes. I think somebody has to mute yourself. It's disturbing me. And elephant has 2 eyes. How many eyes do we have? So two persons are interacting. So 1 plus 2 plus 2, it is 4. Okay, I will give the answer and then go. Okay, the question is, how many eyes do we have? How can you have 3? 2 persons are there involved, so it is 4. Okay, I hope you are convinced, otherwise you think about it and get the answer. I just skip all this. Make a difference. It is never about the problem. You should always think about the goal. Okay, so that you solve your problem. Every problem has a solution. You just have to create enough to find out. Okay? Like how we are solving our mathematical problems. You can solve your problems. Says John Dewey, a problem well put is half solved. I always quote to the philosophers, right? And Anthony Robbins, every problem is a gift. So how beautiful it is. Every problem is a gift. Because we have problems only, we are trying to find out solutions for it, right? So even in life, we have problems. It is a gift. Take it as a gift and try to solve the problem. Every problem is a gift. Without it, we cannot grow. With the problems only, we can grow. With that, I would like to say, before you act, listen. Before you react, think. Before you spend, earn. Before you criticize, wait. Before you pray, forgive. Before you quit, try. Thank you. Thank you, participants, for actively participating in my session. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you had a relaxing session. I didn't want to bombard you with the theory, so I some little bit of exercise with you. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I call Mrs. Caroline Jebasarna to take over the session. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Ribina ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Yes, ma'am. You are audible.
Priya, are you presenting or shall I?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening to one and all present here. I thank Sister Secretary and Principal of Stella Marittima College of Education for the opportunity, and the organizing secretaries for the opportunity given to me to deliberate on problem-solving skills. Can you all view my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you all?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We can see.
The previous slide, please. The previous one.
Yeah, we can see.
Yes. I shall start the presentation, and I thank the Almighty for this opportunity. My focus areas are going to be celebrities. The previous slide, please. The previous one. Oh my God. My focus areas are going to be, I'm going to begin with the celebrities who went from problems to popularity, and the leading nations in problem-solving skills, curriculum of Singapore, and the drawbacks in the present education system with special reference to Indian scenario, the problem-solving skills for teachers in the classroom, followed by an activity, and few problem-solving activities for students in all the levels, and 3 questions and problem-solving. The next slide, please. Firstly, I'm interested about Malala Yousafzai. Actually, Malala Yousafzai, the next one. Malala Yousafzai is an activist for right to education for girls at Pakistan. She is the youngest recipient of Nobel Peace Prize. She was blessed with school education as her father himself ran a chain of schools in Pakistan. She empathized with the girls who were deprived of education and started writing in the Urdu blogs about right to education and organized rallies for the cause. This disturbed the Taliban and they wanted to assassinate her. One day, as she was returning back from school to home, she was shot in the head and neck. She survived with several injuries and was taken to a hospital in Peshawar at Pakistan. And there the doctors assured only 70% assurance of her life, and immediately she was rushed to a hospital in Germany, and even there, the doctors referred her to Queen's Hospital at London. She underwent 2 surgeries at the hospital, one for rectifying her facial nerve and another for reconstruction of the skull at a very young age of 15. Even after her surgery, the voice of Malala against right to education for girls didn't stop. She continued to make a difference in the education of young girls at Pakistan. The determination and drive which Malala had for women empowerment made her to be a popular personality, and many young people have been inspired by her. The next one, please. Let me go on with the achievements. She was an activist for the right to education, and she's the co-founder of the Malala Fund, and she has authored her own biography, I'm Malala, and she has won the Nobel Peace Prize in the year 2014 when she was 15 years old. And she has been awarded the honorary Canadian citizenship in 2017, and she became the youngest person to address at the House of Commons of Canada. The next slide. The next slide. And the next personality which I'm interested is Ed Sheeran, and he's an award-winning singer, songwriter, producer. And the reason why am I interested with Ed Sheeran is actually, as when he was young, he had to face hardships in school due to his speech disorder, which is known as stuttering. He felt difficult to pronounce the first part of each word, and it took a lot of time to complete the word. He was bullied and teased by a lot of classmates in school, and just with the support offered by his father to develop his musical skills, he memorized the songs of rap singer Eminem and started to recite the songs starting from beginning to end and vice versa. This exercise of reciting the songs from beginning to end and vice versa made him to emerge as made him to come out of the speech problem, and later on he became a songwriter, composer, and a singer. He was not recognized at the early stage, and he had to spend nights without food and sleep in the subways, streets, and parks of London. He gained glory to the level that he performed with the same rapper Eminem in the year 2008. Rounds helped him to get out of the speech disorder. His passion for music and persistence elevated him to be a successful singer amidst his childhood disorders. Let me tell about his achievements. The next slide, please. He's a Grammy Award winner 2 times, and he's a winner of 116 awards. And he supported the Stuttering Foundation. That is a foundation for the person with stuttering disorders. And he created awareness about stuttering to so many people in America. The next slide, please. Next one. The next personality is a psychiatrist and a neurologist, Viktor E. Frankl. And Viktor E. Frankl was a psychiatrist, and he's basically from Australia. The Jews in Austria were captivated as political prisoners by Nazis under the leadership of Hitler in Germany, and was made to work in concentration camps. Almost 2/3 of the population of Jews, amounting to 6 million, were feared to have died during the Holocaust. Viktor Frankl was tormented both physically and mentally in the concentration camps, but had the willpower to live amidst all the hardships and found a meaning of life in the crisis. He has recorded all the incidents he underwent during Holocaust in his famous book, Man's Search for Meaning. He served the society as a successful psychiatrist and neurologist since the end of World War II and lived a life of 92 full years. The positive attitude and the drive to achieve in life made all the three celebrities to become notorious in the eyes of the world. And I'll go with the achievements of Victor. And he's the founder of logotherapy. It is a therapy which goes with healing through meaning, and it has been devised with the philosophical thoughts of psychologists Adler and Freud. And he has authored so many books, almost 40 books. And the renowned book is Man's Search for Meaning, which has been liked by people, so many people worldwide. And the next slide, please. Next slide. I'm not able to see. Yes. Yes. Next one. The next one. Because already Alma ma'am had given a lot of inputs about the philosophical perspective of problem solving and a lot of activities, hands-on activities to you. So let me go about with the countries which excel in problem solving skills. Singapore tops the problem solving skills among students in almost all the countries, and followed by South Korea, Japan, China, Hong Kong, Canada, Australia, Finland, and UK. Actually, this source of information was taken from OECD, which is the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It conducted a survey on problem-solving skills for students among all the nations. And we now think, why Singapore stands first? What is so special about Singapore? Let us take a look at the curriculum of Singapore. The next slide, please. Next. The next slide. Yes. I want the participants to have a look at the curriculum in Singapore. And Singapore, actually, this source of information was taken from the website of the Ministry of Education, Singapore. The students were given the choice of freedom to choose their subjects of study. The positive relationships with the teachers resulted in a joyful learning experience, thereby clarifying all their doubts without fear. The peer relationships enable to develop their social skills and interpersonal skills. They perform projects in groups and underwent collaborative learning and constructive learning, experiencing and exploring different problematic situations. The cognitive skill development was given a priority in the curriculum, and high achievers were given enrichment activities. And the children in Singapore were exposed to, and they understood to manage their emotions, learned about showing empathy for others, and maintaining positive relationships with the members of the society at a very early age. This would definitely help in shaping their character. And then I'd like to go back, to go on to the next slide, in which I am going to tell about the parts of the present Indian curriculum. Yes, the first one is the application-oriented skills and assessment. The Indian curriculum, that is the government curriculum and the state government curriculum, is all the time based upon marks. The enrollment to higher education was based on marks. And there was absence in application-oriented skills, which is a mediocre cognitive skills, according to Benjamin Bloom, the psychologist. And there's an absence of constructive learning. Students are confined to only classroom learning, and there's a lot of parental pressure, and the choice of subjects by the students very limited. Only parents were selecting the courses for the students. Somebody is presenting. Kindly stop presenting. Yes. And in Singapore, they have less focus on character building, and there was no focus. Coming to the drawbacks of the Indian education system, there was less focus on character building, and there's no focus in usage of technology in government schools. The government school children has very less options to look into technology, and the teachers themselves who are working there, they are very poor in using technology in the classrooms. The next slide, please. The next slide. Yeah. Now we'll go with the problem-solving skills of teachers. Yes. I have chosen 9 problem-solving skills for teachers in this platform, and we shall see the problem-solving skills one by one. The first skill, the next slide, please. First one is analysis. What is analysis? By definition, I think everybody would know what's analysis. Breaking of a complex task into simpler parts in order to gain a better understanding of it. So we use it in classroom teaching in order to explain the concept to a student. But as a teacher, how can we do analysis in the classroom? We can analyze the potential of every student, their strengths and weaknesses, their involvement in co-curricular activities and creative activities, family background. Yes.
PPT
is not seen.
Not
clear,
being,
ma'am.
now
Go.
okay, ma'am.
I think it's seen. Yes, ma'am. If
Yes,
you want to
ma'am.
pin the screen. Yes. And I was speaking about doing analysis in a classroom situation, and this could not happen within a day. This is a continuous long process and will certainly strengthen and build students and the teacher. And the next skill in the classroom is the lateral thinking. It is the solving of problems by an indirect and creative approach, typically through viewing the problem in a new and unusual light. So I can condense this definition and give the definition in a single sentence. It is just thinking out of the box. And supposing we encounter a problem in the class in which three students are not able to join the tour because of their poor economic status, as a teacher, what we could do. And some teachers, they just call the parents of the creamy layer and ask them to bring money from the parents, giving a letter. But as a lateral thinking teacher, what we should do is we could better organize a craft sale or food mela with the help of the students, so that every student could get involved in the process, and actually they can understand the value of cooperative living, and they are going to donate for a noble cause for the expense of the students tour. Okay, this will certainly create the value of cooperative living among the students. The next slide, please. So next is logical reasoning. Logical reasoning is the ability of a person to understand and logically work through concepts and problems expressed in words. So in the context of achievement in the classroom, I'm going to explain a situation in which the teacher has to analyze, because the teacher has to logically reason out and find out what exactly has to be done when assessment of the students is in the picture. The comparison of performance scores of the students in the two terms can be done, and if the scores are better compared with the previous performance, the teacher should thoroughly analyze the strategies followed for teaching, the standard of the question paper, whether it's easy or difficult, and the content for the particular term. In the other case, supposing if the performance is poor, the teacher can incorporate different strategies in teaching and alter her teaching styles accordingly with the need of the students. So the next slide, please. Yes. What is taking initiative? Taking initiative is an introductory act or a leading action. So nowadays in the classroom anxiety is a big issue in contemporary classrooms. I told you in the present classroom, it's a big issue. And the students resist themselves in socializing with the peers and spend the whole day in solitude. So spending the whole day in solitude is a big issue for the parents and the teachers and the friends. So the teacher could provide opportunities and responsibilities in the classroom, thereby breaking their solitude. In addition, the teacher should establish confidence and trust among students in order to speak out openly in the classroom. This every teacher can do by giving opportunities and responsibilities to almost every student in the classroom. The next slide. What is persistence? The act of continuing a course of action in spite of difficulty or opposition. Okay, here in the classroom, the teachers are getting angry very easy, and they have been getting stressed, or they have been pushed into difficult situations at times. But as a teacher, the teacher has to have resistance in classroom and also in the staff room and also outside school, because the teacher has to do role modeling, and persistence is a big quality, it's a big attribute a teacher should follow. So in the classroom, the teacher has to resist with the hyperactive students and bullying students, and listening to too much of noise and behavioral issues is also a challenge for a teacher. And all these issues demands persistence. And supposing if we're teaching a concept several times for slow learners, and if they are not receiving the right, and if the teacher does not receive the right response, this will also put teachers in stress, and it will result in the very bad state of difficulty. So cooperation with the colleagues and also cooperation with the colleagues and administrators, in spite of unpleasant experiences, also will put us into stress. This also demands persistence. And if you have persistence, then you can easily overcome problems in a school and also in the classroom and also in the society. The next slide, please. Observation. Observation is the perception and recording of the everyday happenings. Classroom observation is very essential, and it will reveal many skills of the students. The values of sharing, leadership, cooperation, caring, and responsibility can be observed in students. Observation will also help in learning the names of students. If you observe the students, how does she look, where does she sit, and how does she carry herself, then certainly you'll be interested and you'll be learning the names of the students. Next one is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a way of thinking about and trying to come up with ideas or solutions to a problem, either on your own or in a group. So the teachers can give, actually brainstorming is, the teachers can give a question and get ideas from the students. So this is a good process, and this will enable actually divergent thinking in students, and students can actually complement to each other, and finally they can be given the opportunity to synthesize almost all the answers, and students will get a good number of information. I'll just give you 2 questions in which you can do brainstorming in the class, and brainstorming would certainly imbibe values also indirectly to the students. And these are the 2 questions. What initiatives can we take to clean the campus? So each student would be giving their own ideas and their own actually plans and strategies. And the second question would be, why should we avoid junk food? So this is an essential question to be posted to the younger generation, as we are interested in eliminating the junk food in our families. And the next slide, please. Next is persuasion. Persuasion is nothing but influencing a person's beliefs, attitudes, intentions, and behaviors. Actually, the best teachers can make the students fall in love with their subject. And there's a quote which goes like this: if you like the teacher, then naturally you like the subject. Influencing a child is easy in primary level, but role modeling in the society will help gain reputation among students in the high school and high secondary level. Following own style of teaching, providing different assignments, and promoting creativity and novel ideas in class will attract students, thereby facilitating learning. So through this, the teachers can take a firm place in the heart of the students and will always be appreciated. Yes, the next one. Decision making, the final slide. We had a lot of inputs about decision making skill yesterday through Father Jairaj, and actually I would like to confine my ideas with the classroom, and as teachers we can identify the best learning methods and best teaching methods for the learners, and in conflict situations inside the classroom, choosing the right strategy to convince the students and fixing the problem with the help of the decision making skills is more needed for this generation and today's classroom. Okay, the next slide. Now I have a small activity for you. So far we have been discussing about all the 9 problem solving skills. The first one is analysis, lateral thinking, logical reasoning, taking initiative, persistence, persuasion, brainstorming, and decision making. I've given all the skills in a grid. So now I have a question for you. The next slide, please. So the question is, I've just taken the question in accordance with the present situation. So do not think that all the teachers are moving around with COVID, because this is an apt question I thought for the season. Which problem solving skill would you recommend to people in order for them to have a positive outlook on life during this pandemic situation? I repeat the question. Which problem solving skill would you recommend to people in order for them to have a positive outlook on life during this pandemic situation? Kindly go on to the previous slide, as the participants could view the problem solving skills and tell the answer. You can type the, yes, very good. Some of them have typed analysis. Yes. Taking initiative. Yes. Any idea of persistence or persuasion? analysis of situations, persistence, very good, persistence. Okay. Thank you for your responses. Logical reasoning, yes. Persuasion, yes. Influencing others with your own ideas. Lateral thinking, thinking out of the box to protect ourselves. Yes, that's also good. Observation, yes, you have to be very observant outside. Yes, that's very good. Decision making, yes. Logical thinking, yeah. Some of them have type lateral thinking. Okay, observations. Okay, thank you so much, participants. Thank you. And the next slide, please. I just skip on the activities due to time constraint because the time now is 4:40 because already I've been taking a lot of activities. We'll go on with some more theoretical inputs and I'll give my own experience and problem solving. That would be very interesting, I suppose, because you had a lot of activities and kindly see the activities. I have also given almost the same trait of activities. So kindly go on to the theory. The next slide. Yes, you can move on with the next slide. Yes, you can skip the activities. Yes, almost all the activities. We can go on with the theory just because of the time constraint. Yes, you can just go on. Skip the activities. Yes, the next slide. Yes, yes. So I'm just going to show you some problem solving activities for children. And during the primary schools, all must have listened to the story, learning through textbooks, and we have been telling the same stories to our children also. So indirectly, we have been imbibing the problem solving value to the small children, and they could understand only through stories. The next slide, please. The first slide you saw is the story of a thirsty crow, and it was about the thirsty crow solved the thirst problem of him. And the next slide, please. Yes. And it is about the story of a lion and a rat. There's no explanation needed here, but almost we have to tell all these problematic situations and the way of getting out of the problematic situations to small children so that they could get the confidence in overcoming any problem. The next slide, please. Yes. The next one. And you can engage them with the puzzle game and the jigsaw puzzles. The next one. And you can give them the treasure hunt experience in which we have a lot of clues for the children. And the children are treasure at lost. So this activities could be given to small children, primary school children. The next slide. And this is a maze game. And this is a very actually good activity that could be given to children to engage them into problem solving. The next slide. You can move on to the next slide. Yes. The next slide. Yes, for the high school students, you can show a lot of analogies, and these analogies will help them to compare and contrast between antonyms, synonyms, meanings, and opposites also. I'm sorry, I just mentioned antonyms and synonyms, and almost other things also, like reasoning things. And the next slide, please. Yes, these are also analogies, but of a different theme. The next slide. Yes, you can have the word search, bird search about flowers, insects, and this is an interesting thing for problem solving. These type of worksheets could be given for the children. The next slide. And problem solving activities for children, basically the higher secondary schools to children, they become very, they go on with the adolescent age, and adolescent period is a period of stress and storm, and you need to tell them a lot of conflict resolution strategies, and worksheets based on conflict resolution strategies will help them in resolving the conflicts, because as they write something, they think, and as they were writing, they will be able to resolve the conflict. It is just a small thing, and I've made it a big issue, so they will come out of the conflict as easy as possible. So it is better to give worksheets to children at the higher secondary age. The next slide. And the next slide is which are the situations in which the student would walk away, and which are the situations a student should ignore, and which are the situations to talk out, and which are the situations in which a child would seek help. All these, the teacher can make the child to think and put it down in a piece of paper using a worksheet. This will help the students to actually think about the various things, and basically they can recall their personality. The next slide. This is about the positive affirmations. This has been given by a lot of psychologists, and the positive affirmations will give us a trust and belief in ourselves. So you can give this worksheets, and you can ask the students to stick this positive affirmations even at home, or in their bags, or in their diaries, so that when they see every day, they develop a positive attitude towards living, even though they are undergoing stress and storm and all the other things which matters them. They can come out of the problems through seeing the positive affirmations. Then next slide. This is also a set of positive affirmations and thoughts. So this also could be given, because whichever positive the student likes, they can take it up and they can stick it on their tables or gadgets or whatever may be. Yes, so positive affirmations really help the students. Yes, thank you so much. And finally, I'm going to tell about the 3 quotients in life. That is the intelligence quotient you must be using, and the average IQ of a normal person is 100, and the second one is the emotional quotient, and the third one is the spiritual quotient. And intelligence quotient is a number representing a person's cognitive abilities derived from a set of standardized tests developed to measure an individual. Intelligence quotient involves analytical, creative, and practical skills. It holds a prominent place in problem-solving situations. And to tell about emotional quotient is the capability of individuals to recognize and manage their own emotions. I hope all of you would know. And they have to manage their emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, and empathize with others, and overcome all the challenges in life. And emotional quotient is a basic requirement for the effective use of intelligence quotient. And the third one is the spiritual quotient. And the spiritual quotient is the ability to perceive and judge the spiritual dimensions that are at work in and around a person. It manages towards a positive outcome. And all these quotients will contribute to problem solving. Yes, the next slide. Yes, I've just come towards the end of the presentation because I've skipped all my activities. I'm just going to share my personal experience of problem solving, which took place 10 years back when I was working with Loyola College of Education, Chennai. That particular year, we decided to go on an educational tour to Anglade Institute of Biodiversity at Kodaikanal. I was assigned as the educational tour organizer. I was in charge of a group of almost 75 students, along with a few other staff members from our college. Unfortunately, during the second day of our trip, a girl was hit by a chickenpox, a contagious disease. When we contacted her parents, they asked us to bring the girl downhill for a place named Bakalagundu, which is 60 kilometers away from Kodaikanal. After lunch that day, the girl revealed that she did not feel comfortable traveling with any of the male staff. It was decided that I and another student brother and another student who is a brother from Don Bosco congregation had to accompany her. We reached Bakalagundu at 5:30 p.m. and waited for the girl's father to arrive. He finally arrived at 8 p.m. We accomplished the responsibility of handing over the girl safely to her father. Through the local residents in the bus terminus, we came to know that the last bus to get to Kodaikanal was the one and only private bus available for the vendors. In hand, me and the student brother quickly boarded the bus, which was extremely being an understatement, crowded. We neither had a place to stand nor air to breathe. To add a pinch of more adventure to the journey, we had to survive countless number of hairpin bends that came our way and we managed to do balancing to stand upright and not fall flat on people or push the person next to us. To make things more worse, the student brother who was accompanying me fainted inside the bus due to suffocation. Thankfully, at that time, with the help of the one and only water bottle I had in my hand and few other passengers, we woke him up and somehow managed to hold him, in spite of him begging me to let him out of the bus. The driver and the bus conductor has had enough of a drama and were immensely happy to drop us just 300 meters before our destination. The time was 11:30 p.m. and we were dropped in a place with absolutely no street lights, no people, and we could see nothing, absolutely nothing. We waited hoping to see if any vehicles could help us, but none came for our rescue. We were also afraid of the wild animals that would be roaming out at night. We couldn't actually turn on flashlights, turn on the flashlights in our cell phones as the cell phone batteries were dead. The last call we made was the time when we boarded our bus and informed our inmates saying that we would be reaching by the last bus. My intelligence went to sleep mode. We were deserted. I didn't know what to do, where we were, and how to reach our center, and even whether or not we are moving in the right direction to our destination. Fear uprooted from head to toe. Suddenly, a crying voice made my body shudder. As I turned my head, I heard that I heard that it was a student brother who was crying next to me. He started weeping very badly, and actually, he started weeping very badly, and he was beyond control. I could not control my emotions and started crying. And I myself also started crying. I thought we were going to die. I had worked so hard in my life, and I didn't want to die this way. I was praying to the Almighty. The only thing we had left was the belief of spirituality. The spiritual quotient of us only remained in the end, and we placed our trust in the Almighty. At last, we started managing to touch the surfaces beneath, over and next to us, and finally reached our destination. It was absolutely a miracle. I conclude by saying that intelligence quotient and emotional quotient are mandatory for problem solving, but incorporating spiritual quotient along with that will certainly help us to overcome any form of trouble in a given situation. I wish all the participants in this platform a great success in their career. I thank Sister Secretary and Principal of Stella Martituna College of Education for the opportunity and the organizing secretaries. Thank you one and all. Thank you so much. Yeah. Over to Rubina.
Yes, ma'am. Really, it has enriched our minds with the desire of instilling curiosity through information and packed lectures, discussion, and activities on the topic problem-solving skills given by Alma ma'am and Jeba ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your excellent presentation. Now it's time for the impression about the online international webinar. Outstanding people have one thing in common, an absolute sense of mission. Now I call Deborah Sharon from Shalom Academy to share her impression about this online international webinar. Deborah Sharon, please.
Yes, I'm here. Can I start?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Impression on webinar cognitive skills. Good evening, every dignitaries, experts, professors, and teachers. It gives me great pleasure in this platform to share the impression that the webinar has initiated. I purposefully use this word initiated because every often we do not realize to distinguish our thoughts, what we think, and how to carry our thoughts. Very often we fail in our efforts because we do not comprehend our process and uphold our ideas in the right manner. This is my view, friends. So the webinar has triggered my cognitive areas as how to deal with matter of academics and life experience. The webinar has infused in me thinking is not an event, but a process which everyone has to apply the profitable knowledge experience in our situation into another situation. Reasoning skills is very much needed for our expertise in all endures using inductive and deductive method. Yes, I was able to pin up how to get along with the techniques, which is not only in science but also in humanistic field. Memory skills with many exercise taught us the technique of memory and learned how to develop my memory skills. Decision making, the skill that is very much needed for everyone to handle, just not with academics experience, but also in our lifetime experience. The fathers were so cool and took us to the experience of decision making. Finally, problem solving was dealt in very understandable way without creating any problem in our understanding, but dealing with many problems. Every session during these 5 days were interesting and interactive, making the participants to engage, to understand, analyze, and acquire the cognitive skills not only our own self but also for our students. On behalf of Shalom Academy, I thank the organizers, Stella Marchichuna, College of Education, and the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I call Patricia, BH student from Biological Science Department, Salam Atituna College of Education, to share her impression. Patricia, please.
Thank you, ma'am. So, first of all, I would like to thank my friends because it was only because of their influence that I joined this workshop. It was because after looking at the duration of the workshop and it was for 5 days, I was quite hesitant to join it, but it was only because of the motivation of my friends that I joined the workshop. So, problems were given, and again we were actually given a lot of quotes, philosophical perspectives of problem solving, and so that laid the basis for today's session. And Jabba ma'am also shared a personal experience. It was a very good experience and we learned a lot today also. Again, it is without any doubt. So I would like to thank the resource people of all the 5 days, the organizing team, the management, for giving us this opportunity to enlighten our minds on cognitive skills development and to develop into better versions of ourselves. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Patricia. I request the participants from North India or other college participants, you are invited to give your impression about this online international webinar. Participants, please, you are most welcome. Any volunteers from other colleges to share your impression?
You can listen, but without talking, you can listen.
Yes, Krishnaveni?
Yes, ma'am. Good
Yes.
evening, everyone. I just wanted to thank the organizers for this beautiful session, and it was really mind blowing. And the thing which I was really happy is that activities that were given to all the participants, and the amount of time that they have spent to create this kind of a PPT is really mind blowing for me. I just wanted to have that PPT for our detailed learning, and I always was aghast with the fact that the previous statistical quiz also was conducted by the same Stella Matituna College, and the quality is really very, very high. And I'm very thankful for the organizers for this beautiful session. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishnaveni, ma'am. Thank you.
Now I call Dr. Sister Irudia Mary to present the report for this 5-day international workshop on cognitive skill development. Sister, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall I begin, ma'am?
Yes, sister. Yes, sister.
Good evening to one and all present. Report of a 5-day international webinar on cognitive skills development organized from 5th August to 9th August 2020 by Stella Matituna College of Education in collaboration with Shalom Academy, Coimbatore. The international webinar began on 5th August 2020 with a prayer song followed by welcome address by the principal, Dr. Joseph Catherine from SMC. Dr. Annie Kavita, Assistant Professor of Education from Stella Matituna College of Education, delivered on the dynamics of the theme of the webinar. The first day session was presided by Dr. Thelma Rani from Shalom Academy and Mrs. Rajakumari from Marsiling Secondary School, Singapore. Both of them highlighted the significance of thinking skills. They also shared on the importance of how positive thinking ability provides and paves path for positive and constructive life and living, and thereby enhancing effective living. The session concluded with vote of thanks by Dr. Alma Pamela Juliet, the organizing secretary. The session concluded with a prayer by Reverend Father John Lewis, a PhD research scholar. The day 2, on 6th August, the presentation began with a prayer followed by the welcome address by Dr. Alma, who welcomed the resource persons and the participants. Dr. Thelma Ranjit Singh, Professor of Pedagogy, Columbia University, New York, shared her expertise on reasoning skills and its significance. The session was highly interactive where the participants clarified their queries and on reasoning skills. The presentation concluded acknowledging the speakers and with a concluding prayer. And on the third day, which was on 7th August 2020, the session commenced with a prayer song followed by welcome address by Mrs. Caroline Jebasorna, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, SMC. Dr. Sara Manikaraj, Associate Professor, Department of Psychology, Presidency College, Chennai, and Dr. D. Vasanta Prabha, Psychologist, Game-Based Theory Center, Chennai, highlighted the significance of memory skills with a lot of interaction and kept the participants engaged throughout the session, where the participants had answers to the various questions on memory skills and the activities that would develop memory. It was concluded by a note of acknowledgement by Mrs. Cecilia Shalom Academy and with concluding prayer. The fourth day, that was on 8th August 2020, the presentation began with a prayer song followed by welcome address by Sister Dr. M. Irudia. The resource persons, namely Reverend Fathers Joseph Jairaj, SDB from Italy, and Paul Raj from Chennai, began highlighting the importance aspects of the nuances those involved in decision making. They also elaborated on the skills required for decision making, such as thinking skill, reasoning skills, and memory skills. The entire session proceeded with the input theory of information as well as practical elements of decision making. The session was highly interactive where participants enthusiastically participated. The presentation concluded with vote of thanks and concluding prayer. On 9th August 2020, the presentation began with a prayer song followed by welcome address by Dr. Thelma Arani, CEO, Shalom Academy and retired professor from St. Christopher's College. Dr. Alma Juliet Pamela, the Associate Professor, and Mrs. Caroline Jabasarna, Assistant Professor of Mathematics from SMCE, served as resource person, sharing on problem-solving skills. Dr. Alma highlighted, quoting Dr. Krishnamurti, how problem and solution are interconnected. A problem-solving emerges from philosophy of life and education, citing the philosophers. It was highly an interactive session. Followed by Mrs. Caroline Jabasarna, Assistant Professor of Mathematics, SMC, shared on the problem-solving skills with references of personalities who justify the theme by their very life, as well stressed on the countries and its policy of education to promote problem-solving skills. It was concluded with personal experience of problem-solving. The report is being presented by Sister Dr. Irudaya Mary. Thank you. Over to Rubina ma'am.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, sister. There is an eminent personality amidst us who deserves our gratitude in abundance. She is a person throbbing with joy in service, vibrating love for the needy, and with a challenging vision for the future. Now I invite our college secretary, Reverend Sister Pauline Mary, to say a few words. Sir, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, sister, you are audible.
Good evening to one and all.
Good evening.
This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice. First of all, I thank the God Almighty for helping the organizers to conduct the event successfully. I appreciate the wonderful work done by Mrs. Alma and her team in making this international workshop to happen. Congratulations to everyone who worked for the international workshop on cognitive skills development. I appreciate all the participants who joined enthusiastically in this workshop. This shows your willingness to learn, and learn, as Mrs. Alma said. I hope this 5-day international workshop motivated you, improved your knowledge, and it was useful to you all. May God bless everyone. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much, sister. The smallest act of kindness is worth more than the grandest intention. By Oscar Welly. I call Dr. Mrs. Alma Juliet Pamela, Associate Professor, IQAC and Research Coordinator, Stella Matituna College of Education, to propose the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Yes. The Lord has done great things for us and we are filled with joy. A very good evening to one and all. Expressing gratitude not only feels good, and gratitude is the best attitude. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for His constant loving guidance and support all these 5 days without any technical glitch. It was going very smoothly. I thank God for that. On behalf of the management and behalf of the Shalom Academy and the faculty of SMCE and the faculty of Shalom Academy, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to all the resource persons, starting from Dr. Thelma, CEO, Shalom Academy, Mrs. Rajakumari, Marsiling Secondary School, Singapore, and Mrs. Thelma Rajit Singh, Educational Consultant, Shalom Academy, and former professor of pedagogy, Canada, and Father Joseph J. Raj, founder of Niraivagam and Salesian Pontifical University, Rome, Italy, and Father Paul Raj, STB, and director of Niraivagam, and Dr. Sara Manikiraj, associate professor, Presidency College, and Dr. D. Vasanta Prabha, psychologist, game-based therapy center, for their valuable insights, their expertise, and their practical activities. Each and every day, it was so nice and interesting. They have shared very well, and we were very much grateful to you. In spite of your busy schedule and things like that, you were able to make it up. So we are so grateful to all the resource persons, and thank you so much all for your wonderful service to the cause of education. I take immense pleasure in thanking our Secretary, Reverend Sister Pauline Mary, for her involvement and guidance, her concern and commitment, and vision for the success of the 5-day international online cognitive skills development. I also thank our Principal, Dr. Joseph Catherine, for her encouragement. I express my sincere gratitude to the participants from the various parts of India, right from north to south of India, and participants from various sectors, various arts colleges and colleges of education. I also thank Dr. Telma's CEO, Shalom Academy, and Mrs. Cecilia, language trainer, Shalom Academy, and all the members of the Shalom Academy for their great service. We had a collaborative work, and it was very nice working with you, ma'am. Thank you. I also thank our teaching faculty who were very, very dynamic, and we had a dynamic meeting and dynamic movement during all these 5 days to discuss each and every activity, and we were doing it. It was very nice working with them. I thank all the faculty members of Stella Matutina for being with us, and we were all doing good. And hats off to Stella Matutina band of staff members. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And finally, I would like to thank the participants for your active participation. Without your cooperation, we would not have made this workshop, 5-day international online workshop, a success. Thank you, participants, for being with us so patiently, answering all activities, answering all questions, and you were so dynamic and active. Happy learning. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. We came to the end of the session with the college song followed by the national anthem.
You're able to hear Ma Hanapriya. Rubina?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Shall we go with the next song? Yes. Yeah.
मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Alma
thank you.
ma'am,
Oh,
Telma ma'am,
yeah,
Dr.
yeah,
Alma,
yeah.
Dr. Telma, and the entire team. Thank you so much. It
Yeah,
was
entire
nice,
team.
very successful. Yeah, it was indeed a very successful international webinar,
Thank you,
and it
ma'am.
was a grand success because participants.
Congratulations to everyone. Yes.
Thank you,
Good
sister.
Thank you,
evening,
sister.
sister. Good evening, good evening, good
Good
evening,
evening,
good evening.
sister.
Thank you, sister.
How are you all
Fine, sister.
Fine, sister.
Doing well.
doing?
One announcement for the participants. We'll be sending you the feedback link, and we'll be sending you the certificates through your registered email. So no worry, we will be sending it to you. Thank you, participants. Yes, sister.
Thank you, sister. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
ஒரே சத்தமா இருக்கு.